We talked about this a couple weeks ago when Apple really wanted or suggested or strongly urged people to update to iOS 14.8. The reason why they wanted everybody to update to that was because there was some company out of I want to say Israel, I think.
Israel, yep.
Yeah, they were trying to track their political dissidents, people who were speaking out against the government. They created a piece of spyware that they could put on these political folks' phones and track them where they're going, find out who they're talking to, so on and so forth. Apple patched that and said, okay, you need to update this because we don't want this stuff to happen. This company seems to still be at work trying to create this software that'll enable governments, whomever, to put this spyware on iPhones. So Apple's still trying to fight with them. So they've decided to let users know if spyware has actually been installed on their phone. So the way Apple's going to do it is it's going to detect that a user has been targeted by a state-sponsored hacking via this software, this NGO software, I think it's the name of it. It will send an iMessage and an email to the addresses on file, and threat notification will be displayed when the user signs into Apple ID according to Apple. Again, that this is not for everybody. I'm not I'm not a political state sponsor, a political target of a state sponsored hacking. So this doesn't apply to 99.9% of us. And Apple actually says these users are individually targeted because of who they are or what they do. Unlike traditional cyber criminals, state sponsored attackers apply exceptional resources to target a very small number of specific individuals and their devices, which makes these attacks much harder to detect and prevent. So basically, what Apple's saying is it's very, very hard to just patch a individual device when they are being attacked specifically by a state-sponsored hacking. So the best thing we can do is let those users know if that stuff has been added on their device. But
Right.
don't get it twisted. Everybody out there ain't gonna get notified when your baby daddy gets your Apple ID.
Right.
You ain't
This
about
is
to.
a very unique
Right.
situation. I believe the software was Pegasus, and I think we talked about it.
Uh-huh.
And, with all the issues that we have in this country, there are countries that are regimes that
Mm-hmm.
try to quash any
Mm-hmm.
type of um, uh, against the government sentiments. And we're
Mm-hmm.
not just talking about, I don't like, you know, the
Somebody on
president.
WhatsApp. Right. Mm-hmm.
He, didn't do student loan forgiveness, so I don't like
Mm-hmm.
him and whatever. We're talking about countries and nations that oppress their citizens and suppress free speech. And
Mm-hmm.
if you have any type of dissidence against the country for human rights violations,
Mm-hmm.
for climate awareness, really serious issues, they put the spyware on these individuals to try and track them. In some
Mm-hmm.
instances, to harm them. In some instances, to
Mm-hmm.
find out where their families are. So this isn't just something that's one of those things where it's a disagreement with something that the government's done. This is real life or death type of situations that Apple is going for, to make sure that these folks know that, hey, the government of the country that you live in, the ultra powerful government that pretty
Mm-hmm.
much controls everything in the country that you live in, they are tracking you, they've hacked your phone,
Mm-hmm.
they know your personal information, and they know where you are. So be advised and take care to know that this has happened to you, and you need to take the appropriate steps to make sure that you and your family and your loved ones are safe. So that's one of those things that we definitely have to keep in mind. So, and I don't know, I think I might have, did I lose you?
All right, so let me. Oh, there you go. All right.
Yeah, I was here the whole time. I saw you.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
frozen, and then I was like, I think you might be frozen, and then it kind of took me off screen, then put me back on screen, and then took me off
that was me.
and put me back on.
To hide it. I was like, all right, well, let me hide it. And I'm like, oh, I see her. Let me. So that was me messing around. But
Okay, yeah.
all right.
So yeah,
But yeah, like I was saying, countries have done much worse.
yeah,
Countries have disappeared people.
yep.
Countries have poisoned people,
Mm-hmm.
all for speaking out against their country, and they get traction. So it's one thing for you to say, you know what, the government's wrong, but it's another thing for people to be like, yeah, you're right, the government is wrong. You should speak up on these type of things, and you get some sort of influence as a proponent or an opponent rather to that specific country. Last thing a country wants is somebody getting some status off of speaking up against them. So, like I said, worse things have happened. So you better be lucky you're only getting a message from Apple saying, yo, this country may be tracking you. You may want to use that as a precursor of the next steps. He might disappear. So
Exactly,
all that to say,
exactly.
when you get that message, you may want to do that. You may want to take heed quick, fast, in a hurry.